And that's how we do that?
That's how we do that.
That's how we do that. I like it, Ralph. All right, people, we are just finishing up this wetland. Just the top edge needs to be done. Some grading. Hey, Brian's got some coffee. You happy, Brian? We're firing this thing up on this episode, right?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Let's do it, baby.
Promise.
We're back, part 3 here in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I'm here with Ralph Bezad, Pondscapes AZ, Brian Helfrich from Team Aquascape, and Alan Decker from Decker's Pondscapes. We're out here working with James Whitaker from Only Outdoor Living. This is a children's natural playground that's being built here, and this 85-foot stream and waterfall system is the centerpiece. The whole reservoir is done. We got a little bit of gravel to put here. We're gonna finish up this small section of stream which connects to the bridge today. I think James is actually gonna finish building the bridge today. And then it's up top. We've got to build a constructed wetland filter right there. Right now, Eric is just putting the finishing touches on the excavation. You can see he cut a trough in there. There's our centipede, and at the end is our snorkel. The top of that centipede is the same level as the surrounding soil. So this way, when the aqua blocks go in, they can rest on top of that as they go across the excavation. And when we get the liner in, we'll actually backfill around both sides of that with some cobble, just to create one stable area for those blocks to sit on. At the end, that is the snorkel. That is our clean out port. This pipe's gonna come down into our excavation and hook up to the end of our centipede module right there. There's a Fernco connection. We can slide that in there and tighten up the clamp. Good to go. Water's gonna come in here, up through those slots, then we're going up through the aqua blocks. Every year, when you wanna maintain this filter, you can put a clean out pump down inside that port. It's got a sump that's actually lower than this, and go ahead and just flush everything down. So you can flush the whole filter down to the bottom. It'll hit that centipede, run into the snorkel, and then you can pump out all that dirty water. And that's what makes this filter so awesome. It works fantastic, but it's also serviceable. That's important. So if you build something that you can't service, chances are at some point you're gonna have to rip it out because it's gonna get all clogged up because there's no way to clean out all that stuff that gets in there. Doing it this way, this filter should last a really long time and it's gonna do its job. I know I mentioned it before, this waterfall here is definitely going to be my favorite one. I love the cragginess of all this Missouri limestone. It looks like it's born there just right off the palette, but when we put it together like this, they fit like a glove, right, Brian? I mean, you work with this stuff a lot.
Oh yeah, it's just so easy. So easy just to figure out what's the top, what's the bottom. They all have these natural little waterfalls in them, and just makes it fun, right?
Yeah. You know what else is exciting? Like, we're at the top. This is it, right, for this build. We're gonna finish this as soon as we can get this section done.
Yeah.
Washing down right now. The bridge is coming together. Like, I think we're gonna finish this sooner than we thought.
Yeah. I don't think it's a long day tomorrow. It's a easy, fun day.
I think by noon we're taking finish shots and hanging out and
100%.
cracking a beer, maybe. So last day, bud. This is kind of bittersweet because I've had an awesome time working with you and Brian and Ralph, and the results here I think speak for themselves. When we all get together, it's just it's all that creativity being pushed even higher by the other person, right?
Yeah. So
well, there's a lot of like, you know, ribbing and stuff that goes on, but and that I think, you know, pushes it even harder because you're like, well, I'm not letting this guy look better than me, right?
Yeah, right. It is a lot of fun, especially with the four of us. We've all worked together, but not all four at one time. So
right.
To me, this was really good. It was a good experience.
I think we got a pretty easy day here. I mean, literally 4 days in, and we're like 85% there. We got maybe 5 hours worth of work to finish this and actually plug it in. So yeah. Let's walk through the wetland and what has to happen to actually make this thing run.
All right, so right now we pretty much got most of the waterfall rock set right in. So we're gonna have water coming off of this in here. Water's gonna be coming back off of that. The cool part is once this comes and rushes down, it's gonna go through all the fingers of those boulders that have all that character. The other thing is we're gonna have water that's gonna come off of this, dish down and go. But in order to make all that water work, we're gonna have to flank some rocks out there and set it so all that water gets pushed to the center and it just doesn't go where it wants. Most important part is doing all the foaming on this and bib liners to make sure everything works properly. Basically, what we gotta do back in here, we gotta get a little bit more gravel in, we gotta get a layer in so we can start setting our boulders back in here because you wanna create some dimension looking forward. We're also gonna have to hide these pipes. So we're gonna wanna get a nice big rock in here that's gonna be able to transition that grade so it looks natural.
And like Alan was saying, having that dimension back behind here, so having those rocks higher than what these waterfall rocks give you the illusion that it goes even further, that it's even larger. And having those big ones where we can hide the pipes is extremely important, especially in this sandy soil. We're gonna have pipes coming up and over into the wetland. Now, our fear is like with the sand, it doesn't compact that great. I mean, we've compacted as much as we can, but if you have any settling, when that pipe comes down, it can actually pull the liner with it and cause a leak spot. So we're gonna come up super high with it, block it up probably with even some block work underneath the pipe in the wetland, make sure there's no chance for it to sag, and then we'll hide all that with those big boulders. All right, bud. You know what time it is.
It's time. You know, this is the universal. It's finished.
Our favorite part of every single build is plugging the pumps in.
I'm trying to look at you, but all I'm doing is looking at the water feature. It looks so good.
Let's do this.
Okay, are we ready to run?
One, two,
go.
Three. Let's go.
Who's thinking it's going to do exactly what we thought it was going to do?
I don't think any one of us know what it's going to do.
Oh, here it comes.
There it is.
Nice. I'm glad it came over that rock first, because I felt like that was the highest one.
Me too.
Yeah. All right, James.
Yeah, man.
Children's Nature Playscape.
You almost got it. You almost did it.
All right, James. Children's Nature Playscape project here in Kalamazoo.
Yeah, man.
This is what we started with, right? So explain what the idea is real quick.
Real quick, okay. That's a challenge. Children's Nature Playscape, bringing nature to underserved children in Kalamazoo who don't have immediate access to nature. Imagine not being able to go into the woods and play, right? That's a problem around here. How the Children's Nature Playscape is doing that is bringing in this awesome water feature, which is the central component of this playground, and then adding around it natural components, logs, rocks, just natural stuff, right? And we're doing it naturally, we're doing it safely, and we're making it ADA compliant, and that is super unique. So that's what this is about.
All right, good. So now that we explained like what the intention is here, let's look at the reality.
You walk in at the corner, there's only one entrance to the playground, and the first peak you get is right there behind me. Can you imagine not wanting to check that out? You know, that was the vision, and that's exactly, you know, it's been accomplished way above even my expectations. That's amazing. You know, when you walk in here, you know, you see all this sand here, but this is going to be excavated out, and this is going to be what we call a use zone. This is essentially a large mulch area, very deep mulch, and these natural components are going to go in the space. So big logs, you know, big white oak logs and mesh nets to climb on, a lot of climbing stuff. So they are going to be like, do I go climb on this log or do I go play in this water? There's going to be so much to do.
I'm going to get comments 1,000%, right?
What?
Dangerous boulders. Let me tell you something. I grew up in natural streams,
Yeah.
waterfalls, salamanders, frogs, all that kind of stuff. I got hurt. Like, I would ride my bike and my brother fell off his bike, broke his arm. Like, these things happen. That's all part of like a kid's life, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
But you're taking all the steps, I think, to try and mitigate that, right?
Absolutely. Risk is a very important part of play. Risk has to be an element in play for kids. They need the ability to get hurt a little bit. I don't want them to hit their heads, but they're gonna scrape their knees.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
It's the hot stove analogy, right? You learn not to touch a stove anymore after you touch it that one time.
We don't want a world full of soft kids.
No soft kids here. We got tons of hard rocks here. It's gonna be awesome.